Hi, this is Cynthia Ortiz again. Mr. Perry shut off the last video. That's altering evidence, Mr. Perry. But for peeping and hacking, you should know what I'm doing right now. I don't like you. Listen, I don't like you. You're just this guy to me. You're just this guy that won't shut up and go away. Listen to what he says. He's like, just give me 2 minutes. Just give me 2 minutes. And she's like, go the fuck away. If they're in a bar, that guy gets kicked out of the bar. What's the difference? What is the fucking difference? I don't like you, Mr. Perry. Listen, I'm not in love with you. Get a grip on reality. You look ridiculous. Everyone's sick and tired of you. That's why you have so many leaks. Everybody gets all upset when I'm just quoting you and quoting you. We got the McNamara email. Remember the McNamara? Do you guys even know what that means? Do you know what it means that I knew Mike was drugged before anybody else said it? Does anybody know what that means? I don't think you do. We're irritated at you because we have to say the same thing that most people don't have to be told even one time. And we got to say it over and over and over and over, and you are not getting it. It's irritating. So I'm taking criminology and all that criminal justice classes. I have a 3.89 grade point average. I'm not stupid. So I'm also raised in 3 generations of police. Just so you know, I grew up in it. I'm born into a damn police department. I'm born into politics. Mr. Perry's tried to take my money for a long time because he wanted to allege, when he first did this false arrest thing, like I talked about in the McNamara email, way before he did it. I always know before. That's the thing. That's what the guy was saying. Mr. Perry goes into court and says this is political and had no evidence to prove that. None. There's also no motive on her part to go after the new guy when she already had people to call if she had even done Texas legislation, which she didn't. All these texts here 4 years before you did that are all personal. You're creeping up behind my house. You're coming to restaurants looking for me. My friends are calling me. I wasn't even there. They saw what I didn't see. There's all this, Mr. Perry. Everybody's sick of you. I don't think you're getting it. I'm sick of you. Everybody's sick and tired of you. With your delusion, icked and slimed all over us. You're a burden and an imposition. You're imposing. Getting in my phone so you can see everything I do and everybody I talk to. Oh my God, how gross. What an invasion. What a rape. That's rape. It makes me feel raped. I don't want to be watched in my house. You sit there and get a thrill. You're a thrill-seeking criminal. We have this study that is involving explaining why there's higher crime numbers in one ethnic group over another. Well, I disagree with Mr. It's a biosocial theory asserted by a guy named John Wright, which I disagree with that being the reason for the criminal activity being higher in the ethnic group, but not the reason for some who commit crime, especially a thrill seeker like Mr. Perry. He wants a thrill. He's peeping in my house. I hate it. It's like rape. There's no more violating. It's such a violation. It's disgusting. They had some peeping toms out in Tulsa Hills one time. I remember I was watching the news, and they're interviewing other shoppers, and this lady goes, "Why can't they just be normal? Why are you so weird? Why such weirdos? Do you not realize how society sees you? You should be embarrassed, Mr. Perry. You're getting a thrill off my body. I never said okay to that, and I have repeatedly requested you stop. Just stop. Just fucking stop." So the guy says, these people have no executive function. They have low IQ and no self-control. Those things are executive function. When somebody has to tell you what normal people just know, we don't have to be told it's inappropriate to peep and hack. It's inappropriate to pursue a woman that can't stand you. This person yesterday is like, why don't he just go where he's wanted find somebody that wants him? Why force himself on somebody that doesn't? For 10 years. There's no reciprocation. I can't stand you. You're seeing things against my will. They're not intended to be anything. You fucking imagine stuff that's not real. It's ridiculous. You're ridiculous. I wish you, if we can repeat what you just said and I find out Mike was drugged before it's ever on the docket. We got an ear to the ground in a lot of places. Everybody's sick and tired of you. Listen, Nobody believes you. I get that you think they do. They really don't. You're scaring everybody. If they don't say what you want to hear, I'll do to you what I did to Cynthia and Mike and Lucky. So people say something else to your face that they say behind your back. Please know that. All of you know that. People are tired of it. Really sick and tired of you. I never consented to this. I moved twice to get away from you, Perry. I've sued you 3 times. It's not easy. I'm not an attorney. It took me a lot of, time to fucking learn. I'm still learning. I don't know how to fucking sue people. You called every attorney in Tulsa and told them not to help me. We know that. My guys know that. If we know Mike was drugged well before anybody else said it, you think we don't know that? You think my guys don't sit there and document your peeping and your hacking? You're going to jail. You're going to leave me alone. I will never be broke again. I won't. I will never have my privacy invaded like you invaded again, ever. We're sick and so I'll have my family back. People are sick and tired of, my family. You guys asked me who told. Was it your family? Was it your coworkers? Was it this person? Was it that? Was it your neighbors? Are you calling my neighbors, my family, my coworkers and telling them to hurt me for you? See, that is stalking. It's weirdo. You're weirdo. Quit asking me who told. I'm not told that. Quit asking me who told. They don't tell me that. Quit asking me who told. I'm never told that. It's for their protection and mine, because you like killing people. Like Dead Lucky, Framed Mike, Almost Dead Mike, Almost Dead Me. You think they're gonna tell you shit? They won't even tell me because I do crazy rants. Maybe I'll let something slip. You can ask me that. You've asked me that every day for 6 years. Who told? Was it your family? Was it your kids? Stop calling my family if that's who you think it is. Stop calling my kids if that's who you think it is. That's weirdo anyway. That is stalking. You can stalk by proxy. That would be what Pinto was. Proxy stalker. There's nothing political, the guy says. First, Perry goes into court and he says it's a political vendetta. He has her thrown in jail. She sat there for 2 months. She lost her house. Mr. Powell didn't preserve any evidence at all. That means he had no intention to go into trial. Because if you're going to go into a court of law and assert that somebody filed a false police report, you have to prove it's true or false. They obstructed justice. They impeded an investigation in another state and didn't preserve a fucking thing, which means it probably was not false. It probably was true. Nobody at Tulsa Police saw any of these. Nobody at Tulsa Police saw this. Nobody. I filed my police report on the 21st of January. Mr. Perry, everybody has seen this. You're off your nut if you think people believe you. You really are. There's the fucking police report. Look at the date on it. Look at the date on the McNamara email where I'm telling my ex-husband he's threatening false arrest. I haven't done anything to be arrested for. October 29, 2015, way before. I wrote the U.S. Attorney a letter because 2 policemen came in and said he's just looking for something to arrest you for. He asked us to help. We said no. That's not why we signed up to be police. But that doesn't mean there's not some schmuck asshole that will. That's the date of the arrest. A week. It's a week. Filing a false police report in retaliation for a public servant doing his job as a state senator. Since when is stalking part of your legislative duties? I think you're stupid. I think you don't know what legislative duties means. I think you need to get busy in Lubbock, seeing your constituents, shaking hands, kissing babies, and leave me alone. Leave me alone. I am not in love with you. The thing in your head is not in mine, and it's not that I'm just too afraid to say. You're full of shit. You need to stop bullshitting yourself. You are not good enough for me. You're like, I got to be careful because I'm telling you, there's when the call came in, February 15th, I got poisoned. There was no blood and hair exam. You know what they would have done if they hadn't poisoned me, if my report was truly false? They would have gotten all the evidence. They would have made sure to preserve it. And they would have had a big old press conference with all the drama. Look, see, she lied. There's a blood test. There's no poison in it. He's admitting to it in a text. Yeah, we gave you arsenic and phenobarbital. Tulsa police never saw that. You obstructed justice. There was video surveillance of the night Mr. Robertson came in and made the stalking so bad and the harassment so bad. Customers complained to the waitress. She blew it off. And one of them looks at her and goes, "Do you want him to blow her head off and then you're going to do something? Get that bitch out of here. He's making us creeped out." But you know what? We don't get the video evidence because you didn't preserve it. You destroyed it. You made sure I was, by physical force, prevented and delayed from the reporting the crime you committed against me in Tulsa, not Lubbock. You're still at it. You're still at it. So how did I get this? Because everybody knew you wanted to do a false arrest, but this gets very specific as exactly how. Once you knew I knew, you changed it up a little because this involved you arresting my son too. And thank God you didn't. McNamara's over juvenile court. She's over juvenile court. So I'm telling my ex-husband, this big pile of crime that they're in, this little racketeering bullshit, there's a Jenga piece. All that has to happen is that Jenga piece pulled out and this whole thing falls down. Their criminal enterprise. I'm the Jenga piece, genius. And you push and you pull and you shove and you push and you pull and you shove. And more comes out and more comes out and more comes out. Mike was drugged. Mike didn't kill anybody. He slept through the whole fight. Mike was drugged. That's why he can't remember anything. That's why there's nothing on him. You can't beat somebody to death. Internal decapitation, blunt force trauma to the head, bruised, swollen eye, extensive damage over the head, neck, and face, and end up with not a mark on you. You can't do it. It's not possible. And he was found unconscious, almost dead. They gave him Narcan. I said it in January. It didn't hit the docket till like June, 6 months later. How did I get this? You're not getting it. Slow. You're very, very slow. No executive function. Low IQ. When you're caught, you're caught. You're caught already. So the guy says, he goes into court and he asserts that there's a political vendetta. No evidence of that at all. There's no discussions at all about Perry's, she didn't like his position on abortion. She didn't like his position on gun rights. She didn't like his nothing. Now, there was an email in 2014 after I'd already left Lubbock. You sent me a bunch of fundraiser emails, and I emailed you back, and I said, I don't like your position on the latest abortion thing. Don't contact me again. You know what? 1 in 10 years, and it had really nothing to do with that. What it was about is I wanted you to leave me alone without your wife getting alarmed if she reads your emails and your texts. I tried to be discreet as much as I could. No reason to get Jackie all upset about a non-existent affair, right? If I'm mad, you'll hear it and hear it and hear it and hear it and hear it. I rant like a motherfucker, and that was in 2014. I was already gone. Your position on anything didn't matter to me. So what we've been told is you're trying to steal all my money to force me back to Texas? You hack me, just like the witness says. As long as I've known Charles Perry, he trolls women. He's a little troll. When they're not home, he has cameras installed in their house. He gets in with either pays the landlord or maintenance guy a little something something, or a locksmith, or he has a bump key. Then he sells watch time on the dark web. He's raking it in and starving these women to death. He'll get them fired. He hacks them and he watches where they're applying for work, and he calls those people and tells them don't hire them. They lose the house. Then he has the ex take the kids away. Long as I've known Charles Perry, he likes getting women hysterical so he can go rub one out. He's a sadist. He's sexually dysfunctional. He's a Looney Tune. Certified official Looney Tune. That ain't normal. None of that's normal. All of that's criminal activity. You're sexually exploiting women and kids, and child pornography is a problem for you, and you have no idea what you stepped in when you started fucking with me. I should quit fucking with me. I don't like you. I've done one thing in the 10 years you've known me. Catch the crime. Like nobody else you know has ever done. That's all I've done. That's all you get from this. You don't have a cover-up and you don't have a date and you'll never have a date. You're sick. You're nutty. You're off your nut if you think I would ever go on a date with you. It is time for you to stop, sir. You're an embarrassment. You don't hear what other people say behind your back, but I promise you they don't like you either. Everyone's sick and tired of you. You're an imposition and a burden and a heavy weight we want off. We want you off. I want you off. Get off me. Get the fuck off me. I'm not asking you. The guy says he went into court and he's alleging she's got a political vendetta, and no one can understand that. There's no evidence of that at all. Then he changed his story and said they were married, and he's got this forged marriage certificate he's floating around, but there's no wedding photos. There's nothing to indicate they've even seen each other. I've not seen Charles Perry since January 2013. I moved twice to get away. Perry, shut up. Shut the fuck up. You never shut up. Nobody understands that. You're same as this guy. He won't shut up and go away. I mean, this poor girl is like, please, sir, go away. Please, sir, go away. And he's like, running his mouth, please, just 2 minutes, please, begging like a pathetic piece of nothing. He's a nothing. You're a nothing. Sad little criminal maniac with nothing to define you but your sad little crime. You're a nobody. Nothing to define you but your sad crime and the inability to display executive function. I wouldn't go out with you if you were the last guy on earth and I had to do it to eat. I have not eaten to not give you what you want. And I'm going to tell you something else, locals. These 2 cops that tell me he's just trying to find a way to arrest you. He asked us to help and we said no. Not why we signed up to be cops, but that doesn't mean he won't find a few that will help him. He probably will. Do you really want to be that bitch of a sex pervert? Like Clarice? Sheriff, you're the Sheriff Rowan in this? Sheriff Rowan is my bitch, the guy said. Running a prostitution ring out of his basement. Is that the best you can do with your career in law enforcement? The bitch of a sex pervert? Come on. Come on with that. I'm disappointed. Mike Nealey did not have a huge showing of Oklahoma law enforcement in that trial to testify for him. To be supportive of him and his family. Because when you look at this, anybody can see it. There's no fucking way. Had I been able to testify, it would be a little easier to believe he didn't do it. Reporters were talking to my guys. There's 12 of them they trust. There's 12 they trust. They're part of the need to know. It's not uncommon for law enforcement to use reporters. One of them said, if there was any doubt in our mind before this that they killed Lucky and framed Mike, there's not now. She ranted for a year. They're harassing me. They're taking my money. They're starving me to death. They're coercing. And they're not going to let me testify. And sure enough, they did exactly what she said. Which means he did it. Why not let her testify? Why not let her in court? She's not an attorney. She doesn't know what the hell she's doing. Concealment of material facts over and over and over and over and over. Listen, it's not just about civil court. There's a reason we withheld the harassment email. The McNamara email should have been enough, shouldn't it have? There's a reason we withheld that. That's the harassment email. We're going to send her home and make her think everything's okay. And then we're going to harass the shit out of her. And when she complains about it, we'll say she's harassing us. We'll play the victim. Poor me. I'm a victim. She rejected me. Did your son get rejected? My guess is he has. Mine has. I have. We all have. We move on. But what the fuck is your problem? You got a deficit of executive function, low IQ, and no self-control. Go find somebody that wants you. I don't. I never will. I've made that very clear. It is very difficult for me to go into court. You take my money to make sure I can't go into court. It's duly noted for the record. Please believe me when I say it is duly noted for the record in a different courtroom that you're taking my money intentionally to make sure I can't fight you in court and to coerce me. I'll give you whatever you want if you lie. Whatever I want is you're gone. So don't bullshit yourself. You're going to give me what you want. Everything's all about you. Poor Charles. Drama Queen Charles. I'm entitled. I'm a sad little maniac criminal with nothing to define me but my sad little crimes. Feel bad for me. Everybody gets over it and moves on. What's your problem that you can't? You're a little old fart. You ought to be able to at this point. Stop making me repeat myself. I'm tired of it. Everyone is. It's like a broken record and you're still not getting it. It goes right over your head. Get some help. Listen, when I talked to a cop, the thing that impressed me about Mike is he got it. I didn't have to say it twice. The thing that impressed me about the guy in Payne County, the deputy in Payne County, when I'm telling him about Pinto, he got it immediately. I'm just kind of describing a little bit about what happened when, and he goes, oh, that's witness tampering. Thank you. I didn't have to explain it. No puppets and crayons needed. When you talk to me, you better know your fucking shit. Because I don't have any patience. I'm out of patience. I'm totally out of it. Everyone is. It's one thing when, if we can repeat what you just said, we have an ear to the ground in a lot of places. It's one thing when somebody commits a crime against another person and that person is hurt. It's really creates a whole lot more animosity and anger when it looks like they're getting away with it. You need to realize that. Leaks. Lots of leaks. Sick and tired of it. Everybody's sick and tired of it. Like a motherfucker. This right here. This right here. When I'm telling the Payne County deputy what this guy said to me, offering me $5,000 to spend a couple hours being creeped out, having to sit with Mr. Perry. Ugh. You. Blah. Just be creeped out for a couple hours, he says, and you'll be $5,000 richer. And I'm telling the Payne County deputy, and he immediately, oh, that's witness tampering. I like that. Thank you. I didn't need any puppets and crayons. I mean, we're not slowing down. You need to keep up with us. We know a whole lot more about it than you do. Don't be ignorant on fact. You'll piss us off. You will piss us off. Since you met me, Mr. Perry, how many times were you caught in your crime after and before? I'd love those numbers. I'm guessing it's more in a week than it was in your entire life before you met me. Don't contact me. I hate it. Don't contact me. You need to shut up and go away. I didn't ask you what you thought. I didn't invite you into my life here. So, going back, I'm sorry, I have a little bit of ADD. Listen, Perry, I'm not in love with you. I'm not. Stop bullshitting yourself. You make my skin crawl. I'm fighting you off me with a legal stick as hard as I can. In spite of you taking my money. In spite of you peeping and hacking. In spite of you watching me type up a brief and you call the judge and figure out what the denial's going to be before I even get it filed. We know that. Over and over. You've been caught doing that too. You have people investigating you. I knew Mike was drugged. You're not getting the significance of that. You're not getting it. You're not even kind of getting it. And you should. And no one should have to explain it to you. You're slow. It's irritating me. It's very, very irritating to have to deal with somebody that doesn't get easy concepts. It's very frustrating. Very frustrating. I didn't sign up to have to deal with that. Your family did. You need to go see a doctor. I'm going to tell you something. If you and I were a couple, if I know people that can get what you just said, and you keep asking me, how does she find out? How does she find out? Let me tell you what else I could do. You and I are a couple. I'd have you in a straitjacket within the first week. And don't think I wouldn't. I think you're as nutty as it gets. And I'd have you hospitalized so fast your head would spin. You don't mean anything to me. You're a menace. Sad little maniac with nothing to define you but your sad little crimes. You're pathetic to me. I need you to understand that's how I think of you. I said shut up and get out of my life, didn't I? Over and over and over. What part of that don't you get? Keep up with everybody else, please. If everybody else could move on, you need to figure out how to do it too. Nobody's wronged you. It's not illegal to reject unwanted romantic advances. Your son has probably been rejected. He moved on. Does he have a person now? Does he sit around doing what you do all day? Does he? How embarrassing for you. How fucking embarrassing for you. That's the best you can do. Leave me alone. You don't have a choice. You're committing a crime. It's disgusting me. Don't peep, don't hack, don't bother me. You don't have my consent for that. It's disgusting. It's a reason it's a criminal act. There's a reason for that, Looney Tune. There is a reason for that. Look at this crazy right here. There should have been a hearing. Do you think people didn't notice there should have been a hearing and an immediate injunctive order for me? An immediate protective order? That's what you kept from the judges, all of them. Concealment of a material fact that would have changed the outcome unless they're in on it. Unless there's fraud upon a court, because all the officers of the court are involved in the fraud. The judge is involved in the fraud. Are they, Mr. Perry? You explain that. What about Mike Nealey? Why didn't I testify for him? Why were there no hearings on my motions to intervene for him? I stepped up, TPD. Where were you? I did without electricity and food for a week. Where were you? He's an officer down in need of assist. Where were you? I was there. I was there for him. I would do it again in a heartbeat. You can't beat somebody to death and not have a mark on you. You can't do it. I'm pausing this. I'm saying I paused it so everybody knows he didn't do that. We need to differentiate what he does and what I do. So the guy says, Mr. Perry then goes into court, changed his story. Now they're married. Now they're married, only she knows nothing about it. Pinto asked her about it, and Lucky Miller asked her about it. Did you sign a marriage license? No. When the fuck would I have done that? Where's the pictures? Where's the wedding photos? No such thing happened. He signed it. It's a forgery, it's a fraud. You're one big fraud. You just love the fraud, don't you? You think everyone's stupid like you and they won't figure it out. Guess what? Wrong. Ship sailed long time ago. Long time ago. And the guy says, so if you look at all this, there's no political vendetta. There's no evidence of a political vendetta. There's no motive. She don't live in Texas. She's been gone 7 years. So what in the fuck is... Then he changes his story. Oh, we're married. So it's not stalking if we're married. Actually, it is stalking if you're married and the person wants out. One person wants out of it. It's still stalking. But the other thing is, I never signed a marriage certificate. I would never agree to even a date, much less that. I won't even take your calls, your phone calls. 9 pages my service has. 9 pages my service got to me of you trying to call. Don't contact me. What part of don't contact me don't you get? Don't contact me in any way, shape, or form. Don't contact me. I can't stand it. I can't stand you. It's not a crime. Everybody gets rejected. Everybody else moves on. That's not the crime. The crime is forcing yourself on a woman that doesn't like you. You need to get it. You're slow. It's very irritating. So the guy says the only thing left here, okay, he goes, there's no political vendetta. And then he changes his story. There's no evidence preserved. They fucked her in that deal. They did her really dirty in that deal. And then there's all this other stuff he's done ever since then. Fucking her over in court. Fucking Mike over in court. All this stuff. They've done these people dirty. Taking her money. All this stuff. Would you let your wife or girlfriend strip and go and starve to death? I wouldn't. So it's not that either. It is exactly what she said. He's a delusional sadist. That's what I'm seeing by the evidence and by what he's doing. Every day, all day long with his time. You're selling the story of what you are. Sad little maniac with nothing to define you but your sad little crimes. And I'm sick and tired of dealing with it. Get off me. You don't have a choice. Get the fuck off me. The more you contact me, Mr. Perry, the longer you peep and hack, the longer you're in my life against my will, the more we get. You act like you want to get caught. Go the fuck away. Locals, some guys are not helping him. I'm sorry if the best you want to do, your aspirations and career in law enforcement is I'm going to be the Sheriff Rowan. I'm going to be the bitch of the sex pervert. I got my new pool in the backyard. Dear Jesus. Dear Jesus. Don't come talk to me if you can't keep up. Don't. Or if you're on his side. Because if you're on his side, I promise you I'll find out and I'll know it in 2 seconds. I can outsting up 99% of anybody who comes at me. And you know that. Because you've talked about it. You made a bunch of phone calls. Oh, those guys in Sepulpa did. How does she know how to sting up like that? Who taught her? You called my dad. You called Lynn. Charles did. How'd she learn how to do that? Right? How did I learn how to do that? How does she always find out? How do I always find out? Keep up with us. We're not slowing down for you. Where were you when Mike needed somebody to go to court with him who knows him? He's in a different state.